right. So good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight on Coaching Conversation, and we're at episode 7.
Mm.
7. Right. So tonight my guest is Roscoe Robinson. He's a global speaker coach, and I'm thrilled to have him on tonight to share with us some, just give us some tips, some insights, just like God leads and say what he wants us to
Mm.
say. Hi, Melissa. Good night. Thanks for joining. Right. So, Roscoe, let's get into it. Just tell us a
Yes.
little about yourself and how you got started into the coaching world.
Yes. A little bit about myself. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. I have been coaching the last 3 years. I actually started out with Coach Crystal Day. She was my first coach 3.5 years ago, and I've always had a burning desire to help other people. So since I was a young child, I've always wanted to help people. I got into education, so I was a teacher for a few years. Then I got into the nonprofit world, and I just kind of use those two to now be able to coach entrepreneurs and coaches. So it has been a journey, as we'll talk more about it. But it really was a leap of faith, really taking the gift that God had put inside of me and able to serve the world to help those individuals overcome the things that I had struggled with, beginning as a coach and as a speaker. So it has been a joy to see my clients be on stages speaking. The most thing I am encouraged by is seeing them walk in confidence, seeing them walk in who God has called them to be. When you get off the layers of trauma, you get off the layers of self-deception and all the layers that the world tries to put on them. That's what I most love about coaching.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said, Roscoe. Well said, beautiful. And it's such an important point about confidence,
Yes.
because sometimes a lot of persons struggle with confidence, not believing in themselves, they're just not confident in what they can do and all of that. So for persons like those, we are
Yes.
overcomers because we
Mm-hmm.
have overcome some things. Because for me, that's how I got started in the coaching world, overcoming low self-esteem, not believing
Mm.
in me, not loving myself. But then remember what God has said. He made us fearfully and wonderfully, we're made in his eyes, in
Yes.
his image, right? So for persons, who are struggling with, just
Mm.
getting outside of the comfort zone, getting out of their head, just stepping out,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just talk a little bit about, give some encouragement to those persons. What would you say? How do they get started?
I would say to get started, you have to first believe in yourself. I say that because for so many years, I didn't believe in myself. Everyone else believed in me. My family believed in me. My church family believed in me. My school family believed in me. But I didn't believe in Roscoe. Once I looked back and saw all the things that God has put inside, God has deposited in each and every one of you here on this live. God has deposited you a gift, and God is looking for a return on His gift that He has given you. That He has given you. So once I began to realize that it was all about a belief system, a lot of people, we wonder sometimes, why are they so far ahead? Why are they doing on stages and speaking and their author? Because you know what? The main thing is belief. At the end of the day is belief. They believe that they can do it. The Bible says we walk by what? Faith and not by sight. I have belief, I have faith that God's going to bless me with my talent and my gift. So I would say encourage someone is to, number one, believe in yourself. Number two is change your environment. Number two, change your environment. I know for myself, I used to be around an environment of people who were low-minded thinking, who didn't have any goals or aspirations. They wanted this the status quo. But once I changed my environment of where I was at, for some of us, I grew up lower middle class. I grew up, I grew up, just having not a lot, not having many things. So once I changed my environment with people who think big, people who believe for big, it began to affect me. As they say, one bad apple spoils the whole batch. That is really true in life. One. The Bible talks about like leaven, like yeast. It spreads so fast. So I always want to encourage persons to take that chance to change your environment somewhere that is different. For example, going into coaching programs and investing in myself, that was something new. And when you're changing your environment as you walk out, I'm gonna tell you this: Your family's not going to like it. Some of your family and your friends will not like you being the person that's going to be different. I had to get used to being the black sheep, to being the one that was going to be different. No one in my family is entrepreneurs. I'm the first entrepreneur in my mother's side and my father's side. No one's entrepreneurs. So I had to be okay with those questions of why are you spending money to go to a boot camp? Why are you going to a workshop? Why are you doing that? But it's okay, because God did not give them that vision. He has given each and every one of you here on this live the vision for your life and for your destiny. Now, I'm going to stop because I'm going to start preaching. But I always
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
For your destiny. So I would say those two. I would say number one is believe. Number two, change your environment. And yeah, those two for right now. I would say those two.
Beautiful. That was a mouthful and very encouraging.
Yes.
Continue preaching, not a problem. We're here to get the message, not a problem.
Yeah, I gotta keep myself.
I understand, yeah. But yeah, sound words of encouragement. But you know, sometimes it's a mindset. As Donna would say, shift the mindset.
That's it.
You know, shift the mindset of believing that, hey, I am, you know, I there's more for me. But how do you get on that side of more? How do you get on that side of more? Yes, I know there's more on the other side, but how do I get there?
That's a good question. I would say for me, it was, if someone I know has done it, I know I can do it. If someone in my environment has done it, I know it is possible. If I know someone who grew up the way I grew up, or you hear testimonies on time online, social media, about persons who have done that, I know on the other side of that it's more. But it's not going to be easy. For me to get to here, I've been full-time entrepreneurship the last 8 months. It took me about 2 years to get into full-time entrepreneurship as a coach, but because I realized that I had to have some of us, we need a strategy to get to our more. That's what you need to have a strategy to get to your more. Sometimes I believe if you're aspiring entrepreneurs, we take a leap of faith a little bit too fast, because the Lord will give you wisdom, and He will give you wise counsel of people. They will look in the natural and also in the spiritual of when you need to move to get to your more. Sometimes you got to get to your more, like the children of Israel. God gave them a strategy on how to get to the promised land, but they kept on being what? Disobedient. Sometimes our disobedience stops us from getting to our more. I'm not going to do it today, Lord. I'm not going to go to that conference, Lord. I'm not going to get the paperwork done for the business. I'm not going to post on social media, God. I'm not. All these excuses, and God is like, be obedient. And I have the land of milk and honey. It's right here. It's right here for you. You can walk right on in it. And then, before we get to a more, we have to get rid of the spirit of fear.
Yes.
The spirit of fear. The spirit of fear for me, it had me such in a stronghold that can change, that I felt like, why me? Why should I be a speaker? Why should I be a coach? Who's going to listen to me? My voice sounds weird. Just like in the Bible, Moses, he says, God, Lord, I can't speak. Lord, not me. Lord, choose somebody else. And God was like, no, I'm going to choose you with your flaws and all. If we would just get to a point to get to the more and accept that we are not perfect, that God's going to use every imperfection, everything that we have been through to get to the more, then that's when things will start to change in our lives.
Beautiful, beautiful. And also how to get to our more also. Whatever we have gone through, I've learned. And I think I've shared this with you already. Whatever we have gone through, it's not just for us.
Correct.
It's for somebody else, to help them also to get to their more. And that is why we as coaches, we use our experience, because, well, let us say our past experience, because we have gotten over that hurdle. So we use our past experience to help others to get to their more also. I love it. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
That's what we do. I love it.
Yeah. Because, you know, we have to have a testimony, and our testimony will help others to see that if we can overcome, they can also. It's not
Yes.
just my God. It's my God, your God, your God, every one of us God. And no matter what our flaws are, He still loves us and He still has more for us. So it's just us to be obedient to get to our more on the other side. It's gonna take it's a process. It's a process. It's not a quick fix, it's a process, but are you willing? And I always tell my clients the question that you need to ask yourself though, am I willing to stay the test of time? Because sometimes it can really get rocky.
Yes.
You know, we have already some valley moments, and down in the valley, it's bittersweet, I would say. Been there. So it's
Yes.
bittersweet down in the valley, but what do we learn from being in the valley though? There are lessons to be learned in the valley, right? It's not just for us to sit there and mope around and say, oh, and feeling sorry for ourselves. Yes, we're human. But let
Yes.
us look at the biblical side of it. In the valley. Remember the song say, in the valley, He restored our soul, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when
Yes.
we're in the valley, it's bittersweet. You have your happy moments, and there are days when you just feel like, okay, then I can't go on this day. But what do? You pick yourself up and look on the brighter side, right? This is our testimony. This is for us to go through to help us be stronger too.
Yeah.
It's not a death sentence, you know? So to get to our more, there has to be a strategy. And once we're in the valley, there are so many bittersweet moments, but there are lessons to be learned,
Yes.
right?
That's good.
Right. So, yeah, so I would say no. Being an overcomer of you said you had confidence in you, right? Or
Correct.
not believing in you. Everybody
Not believing.
believed in Roscoe. But how did you get past that? When was your turning point of believing in you, knowing that, hey, I have substance, I have something to impart and to impact others? When did your turning point came?
I believe it came. I would say about a year, a bit, about 2 years ago. It came by number one. I had a coach. I had a business coach. I had an author coach, and they've been really getting to work on my mindset. I had all the skills, all the talents I had, but it was my mindset was so in the past of the way other people had done things, of what people had said about me, and it was a point where I remember after I had done a coaching call with one of my older clients, and she's about 65 years old, and Miss Erlene, she had told me when she saw me in person, she says, young man, she says, please never stop coaching and teaching people. She says, you are changing thousands of lives, and when she said that, it hit my soul, because sometimes when you get into coaching, you get into things, it's it's just fast paced, and you're helping people, and you don't realize the amount of people you have really helped.
No.
And then when you see testimonials and reviews from people, stories of people who wanted to quit, want to give up on their dreams, and because of what I said to them at that moment, they decided to keep going. That's when I knew. I was like, okay, whoa, not based on what they said, but I'm truly adding value to other person's lives. I'm truly making an impact and empowering other people. So it's like it was something inside of me. Like I was like, oh wow, God, this is what I was called to do. Because a lot of the times the enemy, he wants to stop the call of God on your. He wants to stop the call of God
Say
on
that
your life.
louder. Say
God,
that
he
louder.
wants to stop the call of God on your life. But I love the Bible, even about Jeremiah chapter 1. It says, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I have ordained you to be what a prophet to the nations. The prophet is not biblical. A prophet could be a person in business, in education, media, whatever area of influence. A prophet, you're speaking what the Lord is saying in whatever area of influence that you may have. So before the trauma, before the abuse, before all the words of people, God had ordained you to be this amazing person that you have been created to be. And once I began to renew my mind, the mind, as you say, Donna says, as I began to renew my mind, I began to do affirmations to myself. I began to look at myself in the mirror every day that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. I was
Millionaire.
made. I would literally go in front of my mirror. I have posters all in my room. So when I would wake up, I would see it in front of me. Even though around me, I want to tell people right there, situations around me wasn't changing, but I didn't let that change me. Even though situations around me, I almost lost. I'll be very transparent. I was in credit card debt. Almost lost my car. I had got sick in my body, hospital bills. Even that, all that was going on around me during that time, I had peace. I had peace inside of here. In the Bible, the peace in the midst of the storm. When Jesus was in the boat, he says, "What? Peace be still." Everybody else is yelling and screaming, and he's like, "Peace be still." And that's the same thing in business. Same thing in business. We'll get more on that, but that's what I've been realizing more and more. And it's a journey, as you talked about earlier. It's a daily walk. Some days are not the best. Can we be honest? Some days you're like, I just want to just throw it all away. I'm just like, God, did you really call me to do this? Did you really say this? So that's when I would say at that moment with Miss Earlene 2022, when she told me that's when I knew I was called to do this.
Beautiful. But then what is it? What is a testimony without a test?
That's it.
What is a testimony without a test? So you have to have the test in order to have a testimony, in order for others to see that, hey, it may be rough, but you don't know what is going on the back end. We don't know what's going on behind the scene with somebody. But you're seeing me showing up. I am going through something, but does that define me though?
That's the key.
Does that define me though? No, it doesn't. You get up every day and show up because, hey, I have a duty to perform. It's not about me anymore. I may be doing the work, but it's not about me anymore. It's me helping to impact others to overcome whatever they're going through.
Yes.
Right? And we know that, and I've always said this, it's not a quick fix. It is not a quick fix. You have to be willing to do the work also. And you have to be willing to acknowledge when my time is up, or I'm getting up out of my comfort zone. Because we stay stuck because we're comfortable. We stay stuck a lot of times being disobedient to the word of God because God will be nudging you and say, hey, get up and do this. But hey, when you start looking at all of the possibilities, what can go wrong, I don't have all of the amenities and the excuses, as you said before.
Correct.
But what about just getting up and being uncomfortable and doing it uncomfortable? You don't have to be comfortable in doing it. Just get comfortable being uncomfortable doing what you're doing. And then we will see the results at the end of the day. Because what we want as coaches also are results. Results. How do we get those results though? Because as you know, as a global speaker coach, I'm sure when you go on the stage, you want results. You don't want to just be giving information. You want somebody, if it's even one, I've always said this, if it's even one, you want somebody to leave with something. Because you may be having a bad day, go on the stage. You put that aside. So you want to impact others. You want a result from somebody else. So you may have clients. How do you deal with a client like that? Because we know that feeling comfortable is good. We love the comfort place, but how do you get them out of their comfort zone?
That's
to pull them out.
That's a great question. With my clients, when I start with them, I do a lot of, before we even do speaking and branding, I do a lot of mindset work. I do mindset work on what is the belief system. What is your belief system? Because the belief system, your subconscious, not your conscious mind, your subconscious, like when we walk, that's automatic. When we walk, we talk, it's automatic actions. But our habits are coming from our subconscious, which was built when we were very little, ingrained. Even I study like I like the brain stuff, and your neuron connections, pathways are back there. And it's repeated behavior that sometimes we don't even know we do. Yeah. We say stuff that we say things that oh, my mom said that, my grandfather said that, and it's subconscious. So I'm working with them and understanding, where did this pattern come from? Why do you believe this about yourself? And now let's reverse. Now, what does, number one, what does God say about this? And now, how do you feel about? I do a lot of my clients, before they even speak, I do a lot of mindset work, because a lot of my clients, they feel like, how can I do this? Why should I do this? How can this even possible? So one of my clients, I was able to work with them, and now they are getting podcast interviews. I mean, within 30 days, we just did mindset work. Within 30 days, a podcast interview, speaking at 2 schools, because it was all a belief system. So I really talk about that doubt, and also helping them. And I want to talk about this as well. Some people, when you grow up in an environment of poverty, you don't feel like you should be paid to speak.
True.
So what's your fear of money? This is why I fear of money, poverty consciousness, guilt of money. Why should I be paid to speak when I'm given? Why should I be paid to speak? Only bad people have money. So I really work with. I had to work on. I work with my clients in breaking down these different barriers, especially with the poverty mindset, because they don't feel like they should be paid to speak for some reason, which I'll be talking more about this week. But that's what I love to talk about with my clients, and see the results. And there's moments in the coaching process where I can sense, I know it's going to be a very difficult place. But us as coaches, that's why God has sent us to them to be alongside of them in those low moments. I believe I've had them as well. When I first had a coach, low moments of, this is not working. What do you do when it's not working? I'm doing all the work that you told me to do. I'm doing the assignment. I'm going on social media. I'm doing the content. It's not working.
True. It's like I'm doing all this work and I'm not getting any results, But it's a preparation.
It is. It's like consistent.
Yes, it's preparing us for what's to come. And it's helping us to perfect our craft. It's not just about, okay then, all right, what Coach Crystal always say, you have to know that you want coaching. Because we could be talking to you for years and years and years, months, days, however long it takes, but you're still in that place because you don't believe. And you said it before, you have to believe. Somebody believed in Roscoe, but Roscoe didn't believe in himself, right? So you have to first believe that, okay, then, and acknowledge. And I speak about the power of acknowledgement. You have to first acknowledge that something is wrong and I need coaching. I don't like how I'm feeling. I don't want to constantly be here. I want a change. But how does that change come about? It's not just you sitting around, folding your hands, and it's going to drop in your lap, right? We have all gone through some struggles to get where we are in terms of, let us speak about finance. It wasn't always readily available. We have our fair share of struggle of being, financial struggle and all of these things. But how? We make it work. We make sacrifices because we want changes. So these are some of the stuff that persons have to acknowledge and know that, hey, the good on the other side, I will get there. But by doing what? Making some sacrifice. And even when it seems impossible, stay the test of time. I like saying that. I like saying that. Stay the test of time and honor the valley. Honor your valley moments. Yes. Right? They're here to teach us lessons. And they're takeaways from them. But it's what we do with them after we have learned the lessons. What do we do with them? Do we just sit with them or do we act on them? So these are some of the questions we as coaches, we put out there to our clients. I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
That's, yes. I mean, those journey experiences, and also, like, it's all about helping them see themselves the way they were created to be. It's all about perception. I believe it's all about perception. And also, even in coaching, having goals and setting goals for them. So setting goals for themselves and also for them a long-term vision so they can imagine themselves. I do a lot of exercises with it. I want them to imagine themselves on a stage speaking in front of 10,000 people. I want you to, I want them to imagine that, the Bible says we speak those things if they are, we speak so I want them to imagine that. And as a coach, when my coach has said, I want you to borrow my belief until you believe in yourself. So I want you to borrow my belief. This is my coach said, until you believe in yourself. So that's what I do for my coach clients. I'm gonna say, I want you to borrow my belief that I have in you.
Wow.
Until you get the strength enough to believe in you.
Beautiful. Some words.
And that's what I always talk to my client or express with my clients about, because they matter, and I want to hear their voice and let them know that they are overcomers. They are overcomers. That even though this moment, it takes consistency, because the people who, I think about the tortoise and the hare, that old tortoise and the hare. Everybody thought the hare was, the hare was going to win. He ran fast. But slow and steady. If you slow and steady,
get you there.
Build your foundation. You build those deep roots like a tree. Build those deep roots. So when you get to it, so I tell people, my coaching clients, you have to get prepared for the blessing. The blessing of the Lord can become a curse if you're not prepared. The weight of the blessing, of stages, of the people knowing you, and all these things that come. So I'm like, make sure your foundation is secure, and also your character. Your character will take you so much farther. There's so many opportunities I have gotten to speak on stages all over the world because of my character. He was nice to me. He spoke to me. Just little bitty things about your character. I tell my clients that it will take you much farther than your gift.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. Some words. And also, everybody has a story. I saw something about our stories, a part of our journey, something like that. Everybody has a story. Once I never thought I had a story, but I always tell people I was coached into becoming a coach.
Yes.
I was coached into becoming a coach, right? So Crystal Day again as my book coach, as my Christian life coach. She's like my teacher and everything. She's just full of wisdom and wants to impart, because she saw something in me that I never saw in myself. Others saw it, and as you said before, everybody has believed in Roscoe. Everybody has believed in Loyalite except Loyalite. But once I started believing in me, I just burst out of the box. I just burst out of the box. I started doing, and even before, the fancy word coaching, I was always a shoulder for somebody to lean on. But it wasn't, when person starts saying, oh, I did this, you said this and I followed it, then it hits differently, knowing that, okay, then I have some impact to me. Whatever I say, it can be to help somebody to get over what they're going through. So, the journey is starting, and you take your time, you build up yourself, and you start believing in you, and you start doing your stuff, right?
Right.
So that, and the feeling that it gives, though, when you partner with God, and knowing that, okay, then I really do believe in me, you said this about me, and you start leaning and doing the word, so you're not just hearers of the word, but doing what it says, it makes a whole lot of difference. You're not just leaning on your own belief, you're leaning on Him and trusting in Him. He has given you the wisdom. He will impart all of the things that you need, all the tools that we need.
Correct. He will.
It to us. Right. So it gives me a feeling of joy, knowing that, okay, then I'm partnering with Him. Even when it seems rocky and I feel like, okay, then this is it, I can't go any further. There's something they're pushing me that, hey, you can't stop now. Somebody there needs you. Why are you going to stop now? How will they overcome when you give up? It's not going to be smooth sailing. And we as coaches, we don't have it smooth sailing either. We have struggles just the same, but what do? We feel,
Correct.
but don't let it
Correct.
consume us. We feel,
Mm.
but don't let it consume us. And we know that, okay, then it's the Lord, this is you. Take it and
Yes,
show
yes, yes.
me the way to go. So these are some of the things, I always tell my clients, and these are what I practice too.
Mm. Mm. So
So
good.
you have to practice what you preach. Yeah? We can't be just telling. We have to practice what we preach.
Yes, because when you practice what you preach, which what you say, you will be in a test. Once you say, "I'm going to do this," there will be a test that follows. Majority of the times, that follows you. That follows you after that. You speak it out. You speak. The Bible says, death and life is the power of our tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you speaking? Also for coaching, I always say, like tell people, what are you speaking over your life every day? What are you saying about yourself? What are you decreeing? I mean, what are you saying about yourself at the end of the day? And so many people I work with, they're called to be coaches. They're called to be coaches. And I think about, if I would have not been through my struggle, my journey, my heartaches, my pain, me wanting to give up, all type of things that happened to my life, where would all the people who follow me now? Literally, like, we are helping persons leave a legacy behind. I think when I think about when we're coaching, I think about not just them, but I think about how it's going to affect their children,
Yeah.
their children, because for them they're changing themselves mentally, and also it's going to help them be able to provide more for their family. They're able to provide more for their children. Now they can send their children to the best schools and send them to university. All these things I think about. I don't think about them, but I think about who are they connected to, their community.
Mm-hmm.
So one client that we coach as a coach, they can impact millions of people's lives, and we have a little bitty part of God's plan for their lives as coach. But we have to decide as coaches that we have to, be patient. I'm talking about patience. To be patient, to be long suffering. Long suffering. When we're not seeing the results that we want to see, when we're seeing them, not doing the assignments, not doing the homework assignments, they're not showing up, and you're like, God, should I just leave them? And God's like, no, I give up. But God's like, I'm teaching you something. I'm building something in you too. So I would say, that's a whole nother patience. So how have you dealt with maybe challenging moments with your clients? How do you deal with challenging moments with your clients?
So for me, first, I always have them doing a self-introspection. Key for me. I have to introspect yourself first. Because you have to see what is missing. What am I missing? Why do I feel this way? Why do I think this way about me? Introspect yourself. Where did I go wrong? What's the root cause? Because everything has a root cause. So I remember just recently I have a client, and we were going through the exercise, and she started crying even before we went. I didn't even start the coaching session with her. I was just doing a complimentary session with her. And I asked her, we're introspecting now.
Yes.
How do you see yourself? Why don't you love you? And she just started bawling her eyes out. And I couldn't understand. And I allowed her. And she started going back from way back. So we call these childhood traumas, stuff that you have gone through, never dealt with, and they're left there. So, we cover them up, hide behind a mask. It was never dealt with, so they're still there. So they fester up, right? And it causes you to think things, as you said, your subconscious mind. And it causes you to think of yourself, things that persons impose on you. You took them onto you, believing that, hey, this is true. You gave them that power. But until they introspect themselves, now when we go through our little exercise, then we got a breakthrough. So you start understanding that, hey, why did I allow this? But then you didn't know any better because you didn't believe in you strongly enough. You didn't love you strongly enough. Same as me. I was told I was never gonna come to anything.
Wow.
And at one time, as kids growing up, you had dreams, you had aspiration.
Right.
I stopped dreaming. I stopped dreaming. But it was until I got pregnant with my first daughter. I am to raise a child. What do I do? I would be the first teacher she would see, mommy and daddy. What do I do? I can't sit down and play it and, feel sorry for myself. I have to pick myself up. So that's where my journey started. You can't tell me nothing to appreciate me. Tell me some my face big. Tell me some my nose big. Tell me all of these things. I am firm. Because I know I was created fearfully and wonderfully by God Himself.
Yes.
And whatever I'd gone through, I always say I had to go through that in order to be who I am today. I had to go through all of that to be who I am today. What would I be imparting to somebody else? What could I be telling them about low self-esteem? How could I help them get over that? You understand? So our journey, our situation is not just for us. It's to help others, as I said before. Right? So these are some of the things that I do with my clients. First thing you have to do, self-introspection. You have to do that. You have to do that. Yeah. Self-introspection. You have to introspect you. You have to peel back the layers. What are there? What are some things that are there? What do I hold on to? What are some of the lies that I believe and some of the lies that I am telling myself? So these are some of the things. This is the first thing that I do with my clients.
Wow.
You have to do that. You have to. And then I remember another client saying to me, you know that I never know all of these things about myself. I didn't know all of these things about myself, but this is what it does. This is the power of introspection. You're left to sit with your thoughts and you process it. You process it. And then you'll catch up on yourself eventually when you start telling yourself the lies. And you start going on the negative self-talk. Then you kind of catch yourself quickly to know that, hey, what am I doing? And all of these things. So that is the first thing that I do with my clients. Very first thing, you have to introspect yourself. I know it's
I love that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, that was great. Thank you. I love, like you said that, because the worst deception is self-deception. The worst deception is self-deception.
That's it.
When we deceive our own selves, and that we have to step back, like, this is not a problem, this is not an issue. But everyone else can see that as an issue, but until we see that it is a problem that needs to be dealt with, at this moment, then that's when the growth can come. And any type of coaching program, that's when it can come. Is that, like you said, that realization that, hey, this is some habits, some traits about me, trauma, some things I've been through. But the great thing is that you can grow. You can come out of it. You can be in a new place. You can be a new place as you continue to go to your coaching, like self. I mean, that's amazing, because I've heard a little bit, but I've never heard of a self-esteem coach. So I love what I'm like, I've never heard of a self-esteem coach, but that's a market, I would say, that's so critical, because why so many people haven't succeeded because of what? Slow self-esteem, and not thinking they are valuable and they are good enough to accomplish goals in their lives. So I just want to, my hat's off to you for what you do, because it's so critical in the state that we live in around the world. People on TikTok and they're comparing their lives to TikToks and Instagram and Facebook and all this comparison that's going on, and they don't feel good about themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true, and that's the struggle that young persons are having now.
Yes,
or young kids. So been there, want to help somebody get over that hurdle, understand that, hey, I don't have to stay being where I am. I don't have to be seen as an imposter. You have
I
gone through
know.
something.
Right.
Have gone through something.
Correct.
And if God
Correct.
tells you you qualify, who can disqualify you?
Mm.
No. If he qualifies you, who can disqualify you? It's not what them
No.
say. And I've learned that for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've mastered what persons had to say about me. And, I always want to look good. People pleasing. You want everybody to like you. I don't want everybody
Mm.
to like me. And it's okay. You have Milo, you have coffee, you have mint, you have all different type of tea.
Come on.
And everybody prefers different things. You may like coffee, I may like Milo, I may like mint, I may like merengue, something else. That's okay. Everybody have their different teas that they like, and that's perfectly fine. I don't
Yes.
have to be everybody cup of tea, and I had to know that. I had to learn that, okay then. You don't have to do anything for anybody to not to like you, and that's perfectly fine. Be okay with that. You don't have to be in
Mm.
every circle. Choose your circle wisely.
Ooh. Come on.
Choose your circle wisely. If it's 5 of you or 2 of you, that's okay. What does it bring to your life? You don't want anybody to keep draining you.
Mm.
That's another introspection. What do you bring to my life? What do I add? Do I add value to your life? Do you add value to my life?
Yes.
We don't want to keep being in we want to reach somewhere where we are elevated. We don't want to be stuck. So can I help you get where you need to be? Can you help me where I need to be? Those are some of the things you ask. And it's totally fine to lose people. It's okay. It's okay. God is not going to take everybody on the train that you have to go. Some of them are going to get left by the wayside, and that's fine. That's fine. We don't have to have the 10 and the fact. If it's one, and on the train with you from beginning to the end, that's the one person that wants to take with you on that train, and that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Right? So those are some of the things I want to encourage persons to do.
So
Understand that you don't need crowd. It's okay not to be liked by everybody. It's okay for persons not to love you. And that's perfectly fine. You don't have to be all upset and all of that because you're secure in who you are and who God says you are. That's perfectly fine. So I always say to people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Do it afraid. Do it afraid. If it means that I have to step alone, that's fine. I don't need validation from anybody. Validation doesn't come from men, it comes from God.
Ooh, come on.
So why would I want to put my life on hold for you because you didn't give me a yes? Because you didn't say, oh yes, it's the no, I don't need your yes. I don't need your yes. I will have to believe in that and know that, hey, it is okay. Not everybody is going to be, you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We're fine with that and we move on. So I had to learn that. I had to learn that.
Yes. I mean, that's so good. Same with me as well, learning not to base my identity on other people's opinions. I think so many times in life we base our opinion or our identity in other people's opinions of us or what they formed about us, and then we try to people please, and then we find ourselves in a place where we do not like, but we've created it. We have to be honest with ourselves. I created this place where I'm at right now. It was not my family. It was not the church people. It was not the country or whoever we try to blame people on. It was decisions that I've made. Sometimes the decision I've made based on the opinions of other people. And once we get a realization of who we are and what we're capable of, we're able to move forward in knowing that it was a part of the process. It was a part of the, and it had to. Actually, I'm gonna preach this on Sunday. I'm in Jamaica, but it's a word. But it had to happen. Some things had to happen. You would have never know who you are now if it did not happen the way it happened. You would never know how powerful you are. You will never know that you are a creative person, that you are a great speaker, that you know how to make that. You would never know who you are if it had not happened to you the way it happened to you.
Beautiful. That's true. That is so true.
Woo.
That is true. So
Amen.
we're almost at the end. So,
uh,
for persons, who
yes.
are struggling with, I want to work with a coach, but we know we hear a lot of mates, we have friends who we can talk to and they'll give us advice about whatever and all of that. But a coach, we go deeper. So for that person out there who is iffy, who is contemplating, should this person is saying I want to, can you just encourage those persons? Just tell them it is okay. Just give them a word of encouragement to start working with a coach to get to their greatest.
Yes. So I want to ask you a question for those persons on here tonight. Has your life changed since getting advice from your friend? I'll ask you a question. Has your life changed since getting advice from your friend or friends? Some persons it may, some people may not. So that used to be me as well. I used to be a person who would always get free advice from persons, my friends who were counselors, my friends who I knew had a little more experience than me, a little more wisdom than me. But I was still staying in a stuck position. I was at my 9 to 5 job, working 12, 13 hours a day, long days. I was stressed out, anxiety. I'm gonna get real transparent. Anxiety, stressed out. Never had time for myself. Never could do anything because I was taking advice from people who were on the same level as me. So majority of our friends are on the same level as us, and they don't tell us about the real us. They tell us what we want to hear. Our friends tell us what we want to hear. But what a coach does, when I got coached, I'm talking about me, Roscoe. I got a coach. I begin to see myself in a different light. I begin to see my flaws. I begin to see my weaknesses, but also begin to see my strengths and who I was meant to be. So when I invest, the best investment was in myself. The best investment was in myself because it was an investment in my future. And once I began coaching, I was able to triple my salary. I want to tell you, Coach, triple my salary within 6 months of coaching from myself, then doing coaching as well. But I want to tell you all, the investment of getting a coach is someone that can see from a different view than you. They can see from they can see from a way different view than you, those areas that you need to work on, that you're able to walk in your purpose, and you're able to make your impact, but also we want you to be able to make income. We want to make you impact. We want you to impact, add value, but also we want to help you change your financial place that you are right now. Who wouldn't want to be able to work maybe 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week coaching? You're on the beach in Mobile or somewhere on Montego Bay. You're relaxing while you're coaching, but you got to start. The big thing about coaching is you got to start. I would imagine I spent thousands of dollars on coaching. People thought I was crazy. Everybody was like, why are you investing this money in coaching? Why are you going to this? Why are you going to this? But now, after 2.5 years, now I'm seeing the fruit of everything that I poured into myself. I was at Caterpillar. I was that little ugly caterpillar. People was like, what is he doing online? What is he doing? And then I turned it, and I was in that cocoon. I was just in it, metamorphosis. And now I'm blooming like a butterfly.
Butterfly.
And that can be the same as you. I want you to bloom. I want you to be great.
Beautiful. Thank you, Roscoe. Thank you. So before we go, can you tell persons how they can work with you? Because I know, and for men, I know you work with a lot of young men. Sometimes men don't like to see, but I see you doing a thing. I see you working with men. That is a good look, though. So
yeah,
you can tell persons where they can find you, how they can work with you.
Yes, you can send me a DM on my Instagram, or also my website is IamRoscoeRobinson.com. That's my website, as well as right here, Roscoe J. Robinson on my Instagram, Facebook, and also on TikTok. For persons who want to work with me, What I mainly do right now is I help Kingdom entrepreneurs grow their speaking brand to impact the income with coaching, courses, and curriculum. So I help you build your brand out as a speaker, but also you said men. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. I do work with young men, mentoring, coaching men in that area on self-esteem, confidence, in that area as well. So this is funny. I'm talking about it right now. First time saying this. God really put on my heart 2 days ago. He was saying that you need to start an academy for young men on how to confidently speak. Basically, academy where I'm teaching young men, boys, on how to speak so they're confident in who they are, in their identity. They're able to articulate themselves. That's literacy, that's reading, and they're able to just, become a whole young man. So that's a sneak peek, you all. That God downloaded that to me 2 days ago, and I'll be actually speaking to some young men when I go to Jamaica. I'll be at the I believe Louise Bennett Coverly Primary School on this Thursday. I'll be speaking to the young boys section with the young men on communication, on how to effectively communicate, and also I'll be doing a PD training, professional development training for the teachers there. So that's what I do. I do ministry, I do coaching, and I'm a speaker. So all those three. So I would love to work with you. Love to work with you. But thank you so much for having me on here tonight.
Beautiful. Thank you, Roscoe. Nowhere at the end. It was a pleasure. I am sure our viewers, they've gotten some valuable insights, and I'm sure they're left to think, to introspect, and to see where they need work and who they can find to work with. So I thank you very much. I am Loyal Stewart-Russell. I'm a self-esteem coach. I'm a speaker, and I'm an author. Right?
Yeah.
So you can find me right here on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, same name. And also you can visit my YouTube channel at Loyal Stewart-Russell. So if you have missed any episode, we're at episode 7 tonight. You can go and watch the past episodes. You'll find them all there. And feel free to leave a comment. If you need to reach out, just reach out. We're here to help you guys, right? So Roscoe, now that we're at the end, I say thank you. But if there's one final word you want to leave with our viewers?
One final word to leave with your viewers. This may be cliche. I want to tell someone right now is don't stop the momentum. Don't stop your momentum that you have right now. Right now, some of you right now, you may have the momentum in your coaching, in your whatever that you're doing. Don't let anything stop the momentum that God has for you in your life right now. Don't let a person, don't let anything stop it, because that momentum is going to get you to your more.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. Don't stop the momentum. That momentum will get you to your more. So take a bet on you and get to your more. Yes. Beautiful. Thank you, Roscoe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
all the
you're
best.
welcome.
And to our viewers, thank you all for joining. We'll see you next week for another episode of Coaching Conversation. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.